All right, today we're doing an everything we know video on Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection. This isn't a reaction. I'm just sticking to what's actually confirmed from Capcom, official store pages, and reliable outlet covers so you can walk away knowing what's real, what's likely, and what's still unknown. Stories is the RPG branch of Monster Hunter. You're a rider, you bond with monsters, you raise them, and you fight alongside them in a turn-based combat instead of real-time hunts. That's still the identity going into Monster Hunter Stories 3. And yes, I know some of y'all are here because of your deep love of Monster Hunter Wilds, including myself, but Stories is a different vibe, still very much Monster Hunter at its core. So let's get started with the basic. Monster Hunter Stories 3 Twisted Reflection launches March 13th, 2026. That date is consistent across the official pages and storefront listing. It'll be on every platform essentially, Nintendo Switch 2, PS5, Xbox Series X and S, plus PC via Steam. So no guessing there, that part is completely locked down. Now the big hook of Stories 3 is the setting and the problem. You've got two nations, Azuria and Vermeil, and they're basically on the edge of disaster. Then this egg is discovered, what's supposed to be a long extinct Rathalos, except it isn't. And here's the twist, it hatches into twins and they have this marking called the Skyscale, which is tied to a brutal civil war from over 200 years ago. So politically that's immediately messy. Like imagine a symbol tied to an old war suddenly showing back up and everybody has their own interpretation of what that means. But then there's the bigger threat, the Encroachment, which is described as this spreading calamity that's messing with the natural world and monsters. Some coverage talks about it like a crystallization or petrification style phenomenon in the environment. So it's not just two nations don't get along, it's two nations don't get along while the world is actively breaking. As for your role, what's been consistently described is that you're tied to Azuria, and you're not just some random kid who found a monster, you're positioned as a major figure in the story. Basically the kind of person where your existence has political weight, and a name you'll keep seeing is Eleanor, who's tied to Vermeil, often referred to as their princess in coverage. So basically you're this alliance's complicated character. That's one of the reasons I'm actually interested in the story setup. Stories 2 was fun, but Stories 3 looks like it wants a more nations collide kind of vibe. Okay, so let's talk gameplay. Turn-based combat is still the foundation. This still is Stories. You're still building a team, raising Monsties, and fighting with that RPG structure. But Capcom has been talking pretty openly about improving the pacing and feel of combat. There's dev commentary referencing by outlets saying they looked at modern turn-based RPGs for inspiration, and one of the quality of life improvements they've talked about is making it so you're not constantly forced into full battles for weak enemies. That matters more than it sounds like it does, because one of the biggest pace killers in older JRPG style flows is getting dragged into fights you don't care about when you're just trying to move. They've also been clear that they don't want convenient to mean easy. The goal is smoother flow but still satisfying fights. Now here's the standout new system that keeps coming up in previews and the developer walkthrough: habitat restoration. The way it's framed is you're not just collecting monsters, you're also helping restore ecosystems that are being affected by the encroachment. One preview even goes deeper on how that could actually impact gameplay over time, like raising the rank of an area by restoring it, which can influence what monsters show up later, including things like subspecies and variants and even deviants depending on how developed the ecosystem is. If that system is as meaningful as it sounds, that's a big deal because it gives you a reason to care about the world beyond I need to get stronger monsters. It turns your progress into something that's visibly changing the reason. Another major confirmed thing, there's a free demo and your save carries over into the full game. At the recording of this video, it's already live. The demo is meant to show the opening content and the core loop, character creation, early exploration, early combat, and getting a feel for the restoration system. So if you're on the fence, this is one of those rare everything we know videos where I can actually say you don't have to guess, you can try it. There was also a new trailer push that gave a clearer look at monsters being featured, and some outlet coverage called out specific ones shown in footage. Nebelsharf, Shogun Centauri, Bearra, Regios, and even Rise era monsters like Ibushi and Narway being highlighted in discussions of what's seen. I'm saying it like that on purpose. I'm not trying to oversell it. It's a full roster reveal, but it does confirm the range of monsters they're leaning into. One more update that's actually useful, we've got dev talk around the main story lane. The expectation being shared is something like 30 hours if you're rushing and more like 40 to 50 for typical play. And what I like about that messaging is they're saying the main story should feel satisfying on its own, not like it's just a halfway to the end game. That's a good sign for anybody who's here for story and progression more than grinding forever. Now let's talk editions. Steam confirms multiple editions, standard, deluxe, and premium. And the storefront details mention an additional side story Rudy planned for autumn 2026 as part of those higher editions. So we already know there's at least some post-launch narrative content planned. Also worth noting for PC players, the Steam page indicates Denuvio anti-tamper for the PC build. Not telling you how to feel about it, I'm just informing you because it's listed. And here's what's not fully confirmed: the full monster size and final monster list, how deep the in-game systems go, how habitat restoration scales long-term beyond the early demo preview impressions, and the full DLC roadmap beyond what's already listed. So if you see super specific claims online that aren't tied to Capcom or consistent coverage, just treat it as unverified until it shows up in the official material. So that's where we're at right now. Confirmed launch date, confirmed platforms, a story setup that's clearly more politically charged than previous entries, modernized combat flow, and a major new restore the world pillar that could be the thing that makes Monster Hunter Stories 3 feel genuinely different. If you've had the pleasure of making it this far in the video, like, comment, and subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you don't miss the next video. Also, drop a comment below. Did you try the demo out yet, and how did the combat pacing feel to you? Are you more excited for the story, Azuria versus Vermeil, or are you mostly here for raising Monsties and team building? Also, and lastly, what monster do you want as a Monstie that we haven't seen yet? I'm Blurbox, the random dude on the internet. Check me out in the next video. Other than that, I'm out. Peace.